A very good evening to all those of you who are joining us in for our Facebook Live session from India, and very warm greetings to all of you who are joining us from different parts of the world for our Facebook Live session this evening. I was recently talking to someone and he was an IT professional, and I was telling him, you're an IT expert, I'm a TT expert, you know. And he was like kind of amused looking at me, TT expert? He said, do you play table tennis? I said, no man, you're an IT expert because you're talking about information technology, and I'm trying to be a TT expert because I'm talking about transformation technology. TT for me stands for transformation technology, and all what we do on this online community of our Facebook page is try to look at elements, principles, experiences which we can share with each other in a way that we transform ourselves for a very enriching experience in our lives. And this is what our Facebook community is about. This is what these Facebook Live sessions are about. This is what we make all these different videos for, is to try and share this TT, this transformation technology, to enrich and enhance the experience of the way we live in this world. This evening I wanted to share with you two very powerful, empowering practices which we can adopt in a way that we can get the most out of what we do and how we live. Stay tuned to hear about these two powerful practices which can truly change the perspective on how we live our lives. Very happy to have all of you with us for this Facebook Live session. Neelam, thank you very much for joining us. Vignesh, Saloni, Biplab, we are so glad that you've taken out your time to be with us this evening. Jayashri, very happy to have you. Abdul Halim ji, very grateful that you've taken your time out to be with us. Snata, Yashodhan, I'm so grateful that you take out your valuable time and join us for this Facebook Live session. Chehak, very happy that you've joined us also. Thank you very much. Bhavya, thank you for joining us. Very glad that all of you are here this evening for this Facebook Live session. My first practice that I want to share with you guys is the principle of keep the small things small. There are two things in our lives, the small things and the large things. The small things are those which are not so important, which are insignificant, which are trivial. But you know what the nature of the mind is? The mind just tends to blow up the small things and make them seem very important. The mind is sometimes like a bowl of water. If you put a drop of oil on the surface of water, you see the drop of oil suddenly spreads all over the surface of water. That's how the mind is. Take a little small thing, a small drop of water, makes it big. A small little thing that's meant to be small, but the mind makes it, blows it up and gives it so much importance, so much attention, so much focus. Imagine if we were to save that mental attention, that mental energy, that mental focus for the large things, for the important things, those things that need that attention, those things that need that priority, because those large things are the things out of which you'll get the most value. But the unfortunate thing is because the small things take so much of our energy away. If we could only use that energy for the large things, truly a lot could come out of it. Ladies and gentlemen, let me give you a simple example for this. Like I do so many events, right? One of those days I have events where in the evening I'm speaking to 25,000 people. It's a stadium full of people, you know. And all the spotlights are on me, I'm moving around, and there's 25,000 people sitting there with eager anticipation, trying to hook on to every word that I'm trying to tell them, because at the end of the day, TT, right? Transformation technology, everyone wants to transform and change their lives. Now imagine I have that event that evening for 25,000 people. Now that's a large thing of my life for that day. It's a very important thing. It needs attention, it needs priority, it needs preparation, it needs my complete focus, it needs my complete mental energy to be given to it in preparation and in speaking when I'm there in front of those 25,000 people, right? But imagine that throughout the day as I'm preparing myself mentally, for that event, and then I'm preparing the content for that event. Imagine a gentleman comes up to me to talk to me and talks to me all kinds of things which are not important at all, you know. Just like sharing all kinds of things, talking about movies, talking about these things which are not so important. Oh my God, can you imagine? For that day, for me, it's a small thing. And that small thing, if it takes away my valuable time, I can't focus on the large thing, which is my evening event. So I have to be careful because my energy is limited, my time is limited, my mental focus is limited. If I give my mental energy to the small thing in talking to this gentleman, and of course I'll be polite to the gentleman, I'll share a few minutes with the gentleman, but I can't keep talking for 3 hours, 4 hours. This guy's a big mouth, he can keep sitting there and chatting and gossiping, and gosh, he can take all my time and my energy away. There's those 3-4 hours that could have gone in talking to them over trivia, over non-important things, over non-essential things, over stupid things. If those 3-4 hours could be reserved, I could use that energy to completely focus my mind and my preparation for the 25,000 people's event that evening. So naturally, because my energy is reserved or limited, I'm going to reserve it for the larger things and not for the smaller things. And it's not just people coming and taking your time away. Are you able to relate to what I'm saying? Like you're doing your work or you're studying for an exam, people come. If you're staying in a hostel, students, all students who are watching what I'm saying, if you're staying in a hostel and sitting to study, so one guy comes and does time pass in the hostel, that fellow's finished his curriculum, that fellow's finished his study, and he comes and talks about, you know, all kinds of movies, all kinds of porn sites, all kinds of stuff he's talking to you about, taking your time away, that time which was meant for the larger thing, which is your study. Professionals who work, can you relate to what I'm saying? When you're sitting at your workplace trying to focus on what you're meant to do, it's your project, and that other fellow who's finished his target comes and takes your time away. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to reserve our time for the larger things. We have to learn the art of keeping the small things small. The mind is going to make the small things big. Don't allow the mind to make the small things big. Those are small. Those are not so important. Those are trivial. They don't deserve that much energy. They don't deserve that much time. They don't deserve that much attention. They don't deserve that much focus. But the mind's going to make us do that. And which is why we have to be careful. One of those small things are people who unnecessarily kill your time. Doing time pass as they call it. You have to be very wary of those people. Second, I'm just sitting, let's say I'm preparing for that event, you know, 25,000 people in the evening. Okay, this gentleman came, I knew this guy's a big mouth, he's going to take my time away. I would have given him some time, but politely I said thank you, spoke to him for 5 minutes, saved 4 hours so that I can prepare for my event. The person is gone. Then there's WhatsApp. So many forwards from WhatsApps, messages, jokes, video posts, on WhatsApp groups, discussions, debates, messages, correct? So much of which, if there's an urgent message that I need to attend to, I must, instantly. But there's so many things that could have been done later. They're small things. But the mind just makes the small things so big. Abhi karna hai. I have to look at this post now. I have to look at this message now. I have to look at this video now. I have to reply to this message now. I have to turn this 25 smileys and these emoticons now. You know what you're doing? Because your energy, mental energy, physical energy and time is so limited, your time is gone on that, your mental energy is gone on that, your physical energy is gone on that. What about the larger things in life? Couldn't we have done well if we saved this energy for that? And then there's a Facebook post, Instagram stories. Oh my God. Oh my God. Believe me, hand on my heart, if we just learn the art of keeping the small things small and giving them only as much attention as is needed and use that energy which we spend there for the larger things in life, you cannot imagine the output that comes from those larger things that we have to do in our lives. For my 25,000 people's event, if I don't spend that time with those people who are just chit-chatting, if I don't spend my time on the WhatsApp forwards, if I don't spend my time on Instagram stories watching what everybody is doing, if I don't spend my time scrolling on my phone, on my laptop over all the Facebook posts on my newsfeed, I'm not against them. I'm just saying keep the small things small. They are small. And small things occupy a part of your life, but keep them small. You don't put shoes that you put in your feet and your flip-flops and your trainers in your showcase. They deserve that much attention. They have a place. Shoes have a place in your life. They have to be kept where they are meant to be. You can't put them on a showcase and say, this is the most best place for my shoes and my trainers in my house. Which is why I think there's a great need, ladies and gentlemen, we should reserve and preserve our energy for the larger things in life by keeping the small things small. Now, Steve Jobs, for example. Steve Jobs, or Mark Zuckerberg. Both of them massive successful stories, right? One revolutionized the way we look at apples now. Apples were fruits for us. Apples were scientific research for us. The apple, Isaac Newton's apple we had. We had the Adam's apple in the Bible, Holy Bible. And then we have Newton's apple. Fruits which were used. The forbidden fruit which Adam and Eve ate. A fruit that fell on Newton's head. The whole definition of a fruit called apple has changed by Steve Jobs. The entire generation today, apple. The first thing that comes in your mind when you hear the word apple is not a fruit any longer. The first thing that comes in your mind when you hear the word apple is a phone, a smartphone, an iPhone, is a MP3 player, an iPod, is a laptop, a MacBook Pro, is a smart device, tablet, an iPad, revolutionized it. Mark Zuckerberg revolutionized the way we connect to each other in the world today in a social way. Entire concept of social networking. Connecting globally, such a powerful way of global connectivity, right? And look at these two gentlemen, Steve Jobs and Mark Zuckerberg. These gentlemen use the same colored t-shirt, the same colored jeans, the same colored, same brand of trainers every single day. They don't change the color of their t-shirts or the jeans or the trainers they use, whether they're going for a meeting, whether they're going for a social function, whether they're going for maybe they do a little bit of here and there, but prominently that's the color of their attire. Why? It's a small thing for them. The large thing is their innovation. The large thing is their business. The large thing is making the organization that they run go to the next level. Because their attention has to be on the large thing. They keep the small things small. One decision less in the morning. Which color to put on? 25 shirts. Which color should I put on? The same color, pick one up and put it on. One decision less. Less decision fatigue. Less mental energy. Less mental attention spent on the small things means that much energy, that much focus, that much attention reserved for the large things, which is why successful people are successful, because they keep the small things small and they don't waste their precious energy on those small things. Like for me, I have been wearing this clothes, orange clothes, for 23 years now, the same clothes. Oh, same means not the same set, same color. I have several sets. नहीं तो सोचेंगे 23 साल से एक ही धोती एक ही कुर्ता पहन रहे. No, I have several sets with the same color, right? Why? One thing gone off my mind. Of course, I'm not telling you that you should wear the same colored dress every single day. Please understand the principle. The example that I'm giving about Steve Jobs or Mark Zuckerberg, the example that I'm giving you in terms of my color of my clothes is only to tell you that we have decided to keep the small things small. Now, for some people, what is small for me may be big for them. Like if someone's an actress or an actor in Bollywood or Hollywood or Tollywood, or someone's a model, how can you say that the clothes are not important? How can you say that clothes and looks are small there? For an actor, an actress, a model, looks, the way they dress is big, large. And for them to pay attention to that is important. But are you a television star? Are you a Hollywood star? Are you a Bollywood star? Are you a model? And I understand that when you go for functions, when you go for social gatherings, when you go for events or weddings or whatever it may be, there is a certain way we would dress and there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not against the way we dress and against the way people should dress. This is just an example of how to keep the small things small. Like you go to a gym, guys go to a gym, right? Now for someone, a dumbbell, pick up a dumbbell for a bicep curl, like probably about like a 3-4 kilos dumbbell is large. But for a guy who's huge, that same dumbbell size is small. So what's large for someone is small for another. What's small for someone is large for another. What's important for someone is not so important for another. What's not so important for someone is very important for another. So you guys have to decide for yourselves what are your large things and what are your small things. Based on who and what you do, there's going to be certain thing in your life that's large and important, and there's going to be certain things in your life that are small, trivial, not so important, which take your energy away. You need to identify that for yourselves, and it's going to be some will be common, but some things will be different for different individuals based on what they do and how they live, right? My Guru Radhanath Swami, in his book The Journey Within, gives an incredible example, quoting one of the saints from South India in Tirupati, Tirumala, one of these great saints whose name was Anantacharya. And quoting him, he gives an incredible analogy of a crane. Sometimes you have a crane kind of, standing in the waters, and you'll see the crane standing on one leg and completely focused in its attention in the water. You will see the crane like, if you want to understand what focus is, sometimes go on the banks of a river and see if there's cranes around and just look at that crane. Standing on the one foot with full focus and attention into the water. What's the crane looking at? The crane's looking at fishes. The crane's wanting to catch a fish to eat it. Right? Now what the crane does is, as it's looking at these fishes inside the water, the crane will allow the smaller fish to pass, come and go. Even the crane has the wisdom of keeping the small things small, allows the little tiny fish to come and go, let them pass. Why? Because if the crane goes to catch the smaller fishes, when the large and the big fish come, the crane will not have the bandwidth to catch the large fish, because the crane is occupied by eating the smaller fish in its mouth. So the crane allows the small fishes to come and go and keeps focusing to reserve its energy, focus and attention to catch the large fish or the large booty. Ladies and gentlemen, can you be like that crane? Can you start being like that crane to be completely focused to allow these small things to pass and go? And the dressing part is just a tiny, stupid example I may have given for a particular, in a particular context of avoiding decision fatigue. But there are more serious examples of the small things, right? Like gossiping. It's why? Why would we gossip about others, right? Why would we be talking about others, right? There are larger things in life to do. You have your work, you have your fitness, you have your health, you have your relationship. Why the heck? Why the hell would we bother ourselves with what others are doing? We have nothing to do with their lives, right? Like two guys were talking about a third guy once, they're like gossiping with each other, and after 1 hour of gossip, one guy tells the other, now let go of it, anyways we don't have to do anything with the third guy. So why did you speak about him? Why did we even have to speak about that guy, right? So I so much think that we spend our mental energy on things that are small. Stop this small talk. Let's stop this stupid gossip. He did that, she did that, this happened, that happened. If they are important, let's discuss them, but they no value to us, no value to the person who's hearing, no value to the person who we are talking about. Let's just shut our mouths and shut our minds, isn't it? If we can just do that, you don't realize how much of our energy we save for the larger things in our life, and how we become like a crane. Jane do. They're saying this, let it go. She's saying this, let it go. And I'm not saying be abused. I'm just saying these trivial things here and there. People are going to say this or that. You do anything. Let it go. Let it go. Let it pass. Start being like a crane. Look at the most important things in your life. Focus on those things that you want to achieve. And here's a practice for you. A practical exercise that you need to do. on a daily basis, if you like to do it, of course. Take a piece of paper, divide the paper into two columns. On the left side, the left column, right on the top, write down the large things in my life. And on a daily basis, put down what is that large thing you want to work on in your life. If you're a student, that large thing probably means your exam studies, preps and academics, right? If you're a professional, that large things probably means your project, your business, your work, your deal that you want to strike. That's your large thing, your profits, your market shares. If you are not so fit, your large thing will probably mean fitness, to reduce your cholesterol, to reduce your sugar levels, to reduce your stress levels, to probably gymming out, jogging, yoga, whatever that means. The large thing of your life. Probably the large thing of your life is a failing relationship or a failed relationship that you need to work on. On the left side of the paper, on the left column where you said the large thing, jot down what is that large thing that you want to work on at this moment in your life, right? And once you've done that, then the right side, on the top, in your right column, right on the top, the small things. Jot down in a day, what are those small things that are taking your energy away. Write them down, because unless you see them, you don't even know they're taking your time away. Unless you consciously make an attempt to jot them down and see what's happening and see how your day, everything's mapped out in your day, you're not even able to see that this is happening. So jot it down to see, is it your social media, to see, is it your phones, to see if it's gossip. So if some people is coming you don't want, but that guy comes and just takes your time and wastes your time, write it down. Are they taking your time away? Are they taking your mental energy and your attention away? Jot them down. And after you jot them down, write down the steps that you will take to either minimize these small things and keep them small, or to eliminate those small things. What are you going to do about it? And then every evening when you're retiring to bed, every night, take a review of what you've written. Have you kept the small things small, so that you can reserve your energy for the left column, the large things? Or has your mind blown them up and made the small things apparently small things apparently large, and taken all of your energy away? So here's my first practice for this evening, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to get somewhere as a student, if you want to get somewhere as a professional, if you want to get somewhere in your relationships, if you want to get somewhere in your fitness, if you want to get somewhere in your spirituality, if you want to get somewhere in your life, learn to keep the small things small by not blowing them up. Consciously writing this log, writing this journal, so that your precious time, your precious mental energy, your precious physical energy is reserved for those things that is of value. So keep the small things small, ladies and gentlemen. Asim, thank you very much for joining us. Prince, there's an audio problem. Yes, please, we need to sort out the audio problem. Ila, thank you very much for joining us. Jeffrey, very, very glad. I'm going to be coming to the US, Jeffrey, and I really want to see you guys soon when I'm in the USA. I'm going to be in the USA in the month of April for about 2 or 3 days in Orlando. Then I'm coming to the USA once again in the month of June. I'll be in New York City. I'm coming to the USA again in the month of July in Ontario, California. And if you're around there, I would really, really love to see you guys there. Mangesh, thank you very much for joining us. Sudha, thank you. I know there's an audio problem. Guys, you're saying there's an audio problem. We need to work on it. And our team is trying to sort out the audio problem. Thank you very much for joining us. Mona, Saraswati, very glad that you're here with us. Abhishek, yeah, I know the audio problem needs to be fixed, but not too sure what these guys are doing, but trying to see if they can sort out the audio problem. But I'm going to be a little louder if you can hear me. Ankita, thank you very much for joining. Rita, Ritika, very, very glad that you are here with us. Chandan, thank you very much for that compliment. Pooja, very glad that you've joined us again. Venu, I am in India. Venu, I live in India. I live in Mumbai, you know. I in fact spend most of my time in Mumbai. Will you just give me a moment as this guy is just fixing up the sound. Hopefully the sound gets better. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope things are going good there. Okay, once again, thank you, Atul and Sparsh. Very, very glad. Chandra, you are all very, very wonderful. Hana, thank you very much for that question. How to discriminate between the small things and the large things? I think we can discriminate between the small things and large things based on who we are and our current life. Like I gave the example of dressing up. You can't say that dressing up well is a small thing for an actor or for a model. It's going to be a large thing for them. But for a monk like me, probably it's not going to be a big deal. For a businessman who's really looking at a big business, probably it's not going to be a big thing. So what is small and what is big is going to be so individual and so subjective based on our own lives, and we will be able to discriminate and discern the small from the big also based on our experience. As we live our lives, which is why I also suggest that if we write it down, we will be able to kind of start looking at it, saying what importance, what priority and what attention needs to go to which of our activities in our day, in our week, in our month, in our year, and in our lives. And that's how we will then divide that this is large and this is small for us. It's subjective, but there's also something called an objective large and an objective small. Like gossip is an objective small. I'm not sure if gossip can ever be called large. Gossip is always going to be small, right? If it's discussion to help, that's a large thing. But gossip is always going to remain small. There are going to be things which are small, objectively, but then there's a subjective large and small for us in our lives based on what we do and who we are. Ladies and gentlemen, my second principle I'm so sorry, I know you're not able to understand anything because of the audio. I am very, very sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so you're saying now it's clear? Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you very much. My second principle that I want to share with all of you this evening in our Facebook Live session is also very empowering. And I had this experience very recently. I was traveling somewhere, and after a talk, one individual came up to me and, my God, like told me off practically, bashed me and spoke so many unpleasant things. Oh, I just finished giving my talk. I put my blood, my sweat, my tears, my energy, my everything into that talk to serve the people whom I was talking to. And after the whole thing, here's what you get. Someone comes and just gives it back to you and tells you off, and not even pleasant words, like unpleasant words. I don't even know the person. Like if I knew the person and the person coming and give me feedback and corrects me or whatever, fine. Who are you, man? But you know how people can be? They're like the self-appointed watchdogs who want to correct everybody under the sun. Well, whatever it may have been, to be very honest, I did not even judge that person at all. To be good, bad, ugly, nothing. Because I know that everybody has their stories and I know that everybody goes through what they go through. So I didn't even want to kind of pass a judgment on that person. I know one thing. You cannot stop what happens to you, right? But you can definitely stop yourself from being affected by what happens to you. जो आपके साथ होता है, लेकिन जो आपके साथ हो रहा है उसका प्रभाव आप पर जरूर रोका जा सकता है. At the first glance, the first thing that the person talks and goes over, my first reaction is, I'm upset, I'm angry, I'm disappointed, I'm going the defense mode, I try to justify how that person's wrong. Any of you relating to me? If a person comes and says something to you, what happens the first thing to you? You feel angry, you feel frustrated, they're giving you negative feedback. You feel disappointed, you feel, you defend yourself, you try to justify. You're saying this, but no, this is not what I said. You're saying this, no, this is not what I did. You said this to me, but no, this is not what I am. That's the very first reaction. Believe me, we are human beings. We are not perfected sages and we are not the Buddhas who have self-realized Buddhas who can, when someone comes and says and nothing will happen to us, one day we want to be like that. But the first reaction will be anger. The first reaction will be upsetting. The first reaction will be defense mechanism to prove that I'm not wrong. Whether wrong, right or later, but at least we will defend to justify how I'm right. The second reaction, with a little deeper thought and with a slight pause, is maybe there is something in what they are saying. Possibly there is something in that feedback they've given to me. Maybe there's some element of truth in it. Let me see what is the element of truth in it and let me improve myself.
And if there's not much element of truth on it, maybe they are from speaking it from their own space of insecurity, from their own space of envy, maybe they are speaking from their own space of frustration, their life stories, who knows what. That's the second reaction. समझने की कोशिश करते हैं. We try to understand. The first reaction, no understanding, upset. But if we are conscious human beings who live by the right values, the second reaction is that of trying to understand, is there an element of truth? हो सकता है जो बोल रही है वो सच्चा बोल रही है, हो सकता है जो बोल रहा है वो सच्चाई होगी उसमें, और अगर सच्चाई नहीं है कोई बात नहीं, उसके लाइफ में कुछ तो बहुत बड़ा चल रहा होगा. Something inside that's making him or her say that, no? That's a second reaction. What I like is a third one. That's the practice that we should all adopt, ladies and gentlemen. I try it in my life. I hope it helps you in your life. The third thing that I do after passing through the first one of emotional outburst, the second one of intellectual analysis, that maybe there's truth, maybe there's that. The third one is a very spiritual perspective, which is to practice gratitude. I start looking at what happens to me, even if it's bad towards me, from the perspective of gratitude. Steve Jobs, when he connected the dots backwards, he felt grateful for what had happened to him. He felt grateful that they'd taken him out of the company that he formed. He felt grateful because at that point of time he found the love of his life whom he got married to. He felt grateful because that's when next animation started. He felt grateful because that's when Pixar started. He felt grateful because it was in that year when he was out of Macintosh and Apple that he started working on the font style which he had learned in his university days, which is what you see all your Apple fonts as, the fancy Apple font, which I believe not many can make. Ladies and gentlemen, gratitude is a powerful emotion. It's a spiritual emotion. To look at what has happened to us in a positive way. And suddenly, you see your mind becomes peaceful. Suddenly, you see positivity filling in your mind. When this person spoke to me, my first thing was defense from inside. Why is he saying this? No, I didn't do this. I didn't do that. I'm right. He's wrong. She is right. I'm wrong. Starting up. First reaction. Second, analysis. Thoda socha. Maybe there's some truth. No truth? Maybe he's going through a tough phase. Not going through a tough phase. Maybe he's had a bad childhood because of which he behaves like this. Something. And when you cross that second stage, the third stage, in my mind I always think like this. In my mind I thank that person, thank God for sending that person bashing me. You know why? Because it makes me strong. If I only handle praise when somebody criticizes, I will not have the grit to face the criticism and take it in the right spirit. I need critics. That's how I thought when this person spoke to me. I'm grateful. Grateful to God and grateful to that person because he or she is giving me an opportunity to learn the art of handling criticism, to learn the art of handling feedback. He or she is giving me the fortitude, the grit to stand up and face it. He or she is giving me the opportunity to cultivate humility. When everywhere and all over the world when people are looking at you and adoring you and praising you and worshipping you and always falling at your feet and doing everything good for you, good. I told my God, for me I worship Krishna. So I said, thank you Krishna. I said in my heart, thank you Krishna for what has come to me. Because this is teaching me the art of being humble. Sometimes humiliation can lead to humility. We have to consciously cultivate humility, but sometimes humiliation makes us look at that virtue called humility in a deeper way. Ladies and gentlemen, I think our inside system is like a toggle switch, a two-way toggle switch. Depends on which way you set the switch to, that's what your experience will be. The one side of the toggle switch takes you to the negative side of your emotion. He said this, she said this, why the hell is she saying this? How can he say this to me? Why is she doing this to me? Why is God doing this to me? Why are these situations coming to me? Why is my life such a mess? Why is this happening with me? Whining, groaning, complaining, grumbling, cribbing. That's the one side of the toggle switch. You know what you're doing to yourself? With all this upset, frustration, anger, depression, we are bathing our inside in a flood of negative hormones, which only create stress, pressure, depression, loneliness, and negative emotion of life, experience of life. The other side of the toggle switch, two-way switch, one is this, the other side is gratitude. You turn your switch this way. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Done this to me? No problem. I can learn something out of it. I can learn humility out of it. I can learn patience out of it. I can learn fortitude out of it. I can learn integrity out of it. And when I turn the toggle switch to the other side, gratitude, my entire system is bathed in a flood of positive hormones which make the experience of my joy, my happiness so profound and deep that even in a negative situation, I am peaceful, I am joyful, and I only learn how to grow out of what is happening to me. But on a personal front, this toggle switch formula works very well as well. Ladies and gentlemen, therefore my two principles that I want to share with you today are these. Number one, keep the small things small. And number two, practice the art of moving the toggle switch of your inside from the whining, grumbling, complaining, cribbing of what's going wrong to gratitude, of how this can help you. And for the second thing, start practicing this one exercise. Take a piece of paper, make two columns. On the left side, write down what is happening with me, why is this happening with me, and how can I deal with it. That guy shouted at me. What's happening with me? That guy shouted with me. Why is this happening with me? I'm not sure. I don't know that person. Maybe that person has a story. Maybe that person is insecure. I don't know, but write it down. How do I deal with it? If I need to, I can sit with the person, talk to him, understand in this particular example. Deal with it. On the right side, write down what you're grateful for. In every situation of your life, write down three things in that situation that you're grateful for. What is the situation? How is the situation going to benefit you? How is the situation going to help you grow? How is the situation going to make you a better human being? How is the situation going to make you go deeper in your life? And constantly toggle, change your switch from the left to the right. And if you like, draw the picture of a two-way toggle switch in the center of that paper and shift. This is the negative side. Deal with it if needed. Shift it. I'm grateful because I'm learning humility. I'm grateful because I'm learning patience. I'm grateful because I'm learning this. And when you bathe your mind with this positivity and gratitude, that's when you grow and experience life in a more profound and deeper way. So I thought I would share with you these two practices today. Keep the small things small and turn the toggle switch from whining, complaining, cribbing, getting upset, angry and frustrated to dealing with it and then to gratitude. And if you do that, I think life can be an incredible experience for all of us. Next week on Thursday, we are not going to be doing a Facebook Live, ladies and gentlemen, but we are instead going to be doing a YouTube Live. So if you have not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel, Gaur Gopal Das. And if you do subscribe to our YouTube channel, you'll get a notification of our YouTube Live next week. And I really look forward to seeing you all on our YouTube Live session next week, Thursday again, 5 o'clock in the evening. I once again want to thank you all very, very much for joining us this evening. Savitri, Neeraj, Karishma, thank you. Gaur Gopal, thank you very much. Advait, very glad that you joined us. Saloni, I'm so grateful that you guys spent so much of your valuable time with us on our Facebook Live sessions. Next week, hope that we will see you on our YouTube Live session and probably discuss something interesting as well in terms of our TT or in terms of our transformative technology sessions. Once again, thank you all very much. To all those in India, wish you a great evening ahead. All those in any part of the world, wish you a great day or a great night ahead. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.